We're live on Twitter.
Yes.
We're live on YouTube.
Yes.
We're live on Instagram.
Nope.
We're live on CNN.
No. Who's with us? Roy Iddan. Here we are.
Roy Iddan.
Okay. Yes.
Yo, what up, fools?
What up, what up? It is officially the end of the world. So we thought we'd do one last, no-holds-barred, all-in episode extraordinaire. And who better to do that with than an old friend of the podcast, the man, the legend, the one who a Mako blog recently described as pretentious, possessing an awful sense of humor, nerdy, out of his element, with a hint of personal and professional self-disappointment. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Iddan.
Hello, hello.
Pretty accurate, you would say?
Yeah, spot on.
Spot on, spot on. So, guys, Roy Iddan is a scriptwriter. He's created and or written many Israeli TV shows. Roy was also the production designer for the 2009 MTV show DJ and the Fro. But that's only by day. Mm-hmm. By night, Roy is a political columnist, radio show host, and even a political consultant for various campaigns. We are super thrilled to have you on the show today to talk about Corona, politics, and everything else. What's up, man?
It's all good. I don't know. It's definitely an apocalyptic time to be alive.
So the reason I was talking to Naor a few weeks ago and I saw you on the show, it's called Bo Lecholiti in Hebrew, come to eat with us.
Come dine with me.
Come dine with me.
It's it's actually a British format. Yes.
It's a British format? It's so good.
Yeah.
It's where...
The Israeli one is much better than the original, by the way.
I haven't seen the British one, but the Israeli one's so good because they do such a good job in casting.
Yeah.
It's all about the casting.
It's a freak show.
Oh my God. I mean, you were on it, right? So, well. No, but it's basically, for our listeners, it's a format where three couples, each couple hosts the other two couples for dinner, and they all try and be the best hosts, and the two other couples rate the couple where they were hosted at. And in the end, the winners get a trip to Italy or something. Were you the winner?
No.
Okay.
We weren't.
But how did you get into that?
It's just me and my wife. We love that show. And we're avid viewers. And
it takes some balls if you're avid viewers to jump into that. It takes some balls.
Well, we saw they posted an ad on Facebook looking for new participants for the upcoming season. And my wife was like, we're definitely doing that, and since I'm in the business, so we know all the the casting people in production, so they just brought us in for a talk, and I was pretty confident about doing it because I know how these things work, so I know kind of like how to not come off completely like an idiot, just enough of an idiot so that guy in Mako can write that about me, but not more.
So good. There was a Palestinian couple, like an Arab couple, and the other couple was like just a normal Israeli middle-aged couple, right?
Oh, there was nothing normal about those guys.
No, not normal in that sense, but they weren't because generally
ethnically normal. Yeah, they were
ethnically sexuality,
not ethnically challenged. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
as far as gender identity goes,
because they love doing that. They bring like lesbian or gay, transgender or whatever, and then they bring like
I think
religious.
what they were trying to do was that they knew, because they know me. They knew I'm a right winger. So they said, well, we'll bring an Arab guy, an Arab couple to. They thought maybe it'll rattle me or something.
Yeah. And you kind of were pressing his buttons.
No. I think it was only maybe a little bit. But
they edited it that way.
Yeah, no. I was just we got along fine with them. I did mess up by not, because I knew I was like, I told my wife, I thought, they're definitely bringing an Arab couple, and so I knew they're going to do that, but I didn't do like the extra, step of, well, maybe it's like a Muslim who doesn't drink alcohol, so I have, better have something else to offer him to drink, because that was kind of like a bone of.
I see.
Okay, nobody in America saw the show, so let's talk about something they know
it's so
about.
good, guys. You should watch it.
It was already like Hebrew. 2 years ago. It's
really?
It's ancient.
Yeah,
ancient
you're
news.
a little bit late, Eitan. Late to the party.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, we're going to start with Corona, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is going on now in Israel? It's pretty messed up.
Actually, I think it's pretty. I don't know. Israel is pretty. It's a well-organized police state, so maybe it's easier for us to handle it. And we're accustomed to emergency situations.
Have you stocked up on toilet paper?
No. I have the regular amount of toilet paper at home,
Which is like one roll.
one roll too little. Yeah.
You're not worried at all. You're not like
I'm
concerned.
worried. Well, I'm worried.
You seem pretty like laid back right now.
I think if it's an event never seen before. I mean, we never had a pandemic of this proportion, and not just. Of course, the human race has had pandemics in the past, but not in a situation. Come on,
sorry, my bad, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, actually, yeah, okay. We had issues.
But so the human race has had pandemics like this before and worse, but never in an age where everything is so, the information flow is so immediate, and everything is like the world is so everything is so globalized, so it affects the entire world almost.
What
at the
are
same
today's numbers in the world? In Italy, you said 200 and.
I don't know if it's like the official figures, just some guy.
No,
wrote it in
these are the
WhatsApp
numbers.
group,
so,
it's 288 people died just
and 100 in
Italy.
Spain.
Yeah.
100 in Spain. So here it's not that bad yet.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is,
has anybody died here?
Not yet.
No.
There's some people in serious condition.
You have 200
Too
sick.
serious.
200 sick. We had a breakthrough with someone who was dying. He was really close to death, and he's 38 or 39. But they managed to revive him using this medicine
But he has, I'm assuming, pre-existing conditions or
He's a
something?
smoker.
No.
He's a smoker.
Oh, okay.
But they managed to revive him with an anti-HIV medicine.
And the combination, that and malaria.
Medicine. Yeah, they basically threw everything at him because he was dead.
Opened up the
His
cupboard,
veins.
the cupboard of pills.
And they just, I don't, like, they just put a concoction of malaria and HIV together and threw it
No,
in.
they tried.
It can't hurt.
Like,
Nothing to lose, they figured.
oh my God.
No, they started with the malaria.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Because they had some reports that from China that some
Antiviral.
cases, yeah. No, although I don't think malaria is viral. I think it's a parasite borne disease.
Well, I
I don't
don't
think
know.
malaria is a parasite, not a virus. But
Okay.
I saw this tweet this morning in North Korea. Did you see the tweet? The
No.
North Korea corona cases where it's like 10 o'clock, one case, 10:01, 0. 11 o'clock, one case, 11:01, 0.
Well, so here you have 200 sick, no deaths yet, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be in the thousands by the end of the week.
Sick.
Yeah, like at least 1,000. At least, the very least.
Yeah. Thing is, okay, in Italy, they closed the country. In Spain today, they closed the country. And here...
By the way, a lot of the sick people here came from Spain.
And Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Austria.
Which is crazy because it's amazing to think that if... They must have had thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of sick... a month ago already. Otherwise, there's no explanation why so many Israelis came back sick.
I heard some.
Okay, I have some connection problems, so talk and I'll fix it.
I heard some place where they say that maybe the Chinese already knew they have an epidemic on their hands as early as November.
As November.
So
but the
maybe
first cases started popping up at the end of December, January.
Yeah, but now they're saying that maybe they had some head cases as early as November, and they never.
I mean, that was the problem right at the beginning, right? Is that like you can't really trust anything that's coming out of China.
You can't really trust anything that's coming out of anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, people are. Yeah, there's the whole side of things where you're trying to. There's this PR side of things, right? The people are trying to show off how well they're doing and how their response is the best response.
It's the same here. It's the same here.
Yeah.
But we're in uncharted waters. right
Do
now.
you feel like the steps are the right steps, or do you feel like they're?
I think in general they are the right steps. Of course, I have absolutely no formal, education in any of the related fields. And I have no idea what I'm talking about. But to me, it feels,
We brought you on, Roy Iddan, ladies and gentlemen,
I
the
know
coronavirus non-expert.
Yeah. But intuitively, it seems like we were doing the right thing. I don't know. I wish they had more tests.
Yeah,
we were doing more tests.
Are you feeling the quarantine? Like, are you in quarantine? Are you not going out?
Well, my parents are in quarantine.
Here.
My parents are in quarantine.
How come?
Because my dad rode a Corona train with some guy.
Sounds like something else.
What do you mean the
Corona train?
There's a guy that landed last week in the airport, and they told him, "Listen, you have to go into quarantine at home." So he boarded a train to Akko.
To Akko, yes.
And
everybody talked about that.
Everybody on the train is now in quarantine. So my dad is one of them. And
how did they find him? Or he just saw that he was on that train?
No, everybody that landed...
on this...
Yeah, he was just the only idiot that went on the train. Everybody, I guess, took a cab or something or drove.
But how come your father was on the train?
He was on the train. He commutes via train.
I see.
On occasion.
So he just saw his train.
I'm
guessing he was trying to get from one place to another place.
He was definitely using it as a means of transport, as mass transit.
Yeah, I like using them for that.
Yeah,
they're good.
That's their best. That's the best way to use a train. Any other way is,
So he didn't contract it necessarily.
No,
in quarantine.
He's just in quarantine, and they're waiting. No, actually, he wasn't even on the train. A guy that works with him was on the train. And,
really?
And then they worked closely together.
Wait, what was the guy who works with him using the train for?
I think for the same purpose of commuting.
Yeah.
Right,
so that guy works very closely with him, and then they sent everybody that works closely with that guy home for quarantine, and they're waiting for that guy to develop symptoms, and then if he develops symptoms. Then they'll give corona tests. Then they'll give him a corona test and see if it's corona. So for now, my dad is at home, and my mom just went into quarantine with him because that's how they roll. They're very close knit couple.
The big problem in Israel in the past week or so.
And the thing is, they were supposed to take the kids for a long weekend.
Fucking corona.
And so I think they just. They
just made up the entire
quarantine. I'm sorry, corona.
This is actually just it's a great day for grandparents.
Yeah, Bibi said on the press conference, he said,
"Don't use the grandparents."
Exactly. Yeah. Don't use grandparents for babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem here in Israel right now is the tests, right? Yeah. They don't do enough tests.
We still do a lot of tests. In comparison to the rest of the world,
like 700 a day.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. It's quite a lot
per capita. It's a lot.
It's quite a lot, and it's quite a lot per day also. But it's okay. Now we're dead. But still, I would like to see more because I think that's the way to. Because I'm sure there's an outbreak in the community that we don't even know about yet.
So okay, people have been saying that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of fake news going on. And I declare myself the fake news expert. Okay, so I'm going to break some myths. So first of all, they say that there are thousands and thousands of people.
Who says?
I just did. But you know who said it? Not the CEO of the Ministry of Health, his deputy. The deputy CEO of the Minister of Health.
They have to operate.
Right, but it's totally speculative.
They have to operate by the worst possible scenario.
Okay, so if they were to operate, but they are not doing that, because the operation under the worst case scenario would be to shut off the entire country, and they didn't do it.
They recommended to do it, and the political echelon decided to not go there yet, because the big problem, the real issue here is, of course,
the economy.
The economy, yeah.
Eitan, you want to tell the audience what's going on right now? Like, what's the
I can try and fill them in as much as I know. I mean, last night, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, went on a live television.
Televised rampage.
Yeah. And he announced, together with the CEO of, the department inside the health ministry, which is in charge of public health, right?
Yeah.
And
The director of public health.
Director of public health, and also the director of
The CEO of the Ministry of
Ministry of
Economy.
Finance.
Yeah.
And basically, they announced new guidelines which limits gatherings to 10 people. They again emphasized to keep 2 meters distance between people. They also suggested basically for private enterprises to, if they can, limit gatherings as much as possible. So basically everybody here in like Tel Aviv in the high tech sector and the private sector is working from home.
They closed all the cafes, the restaurants.
They closed all the cafes,
no
all the
weddings, no
restaurants,
rabbanut.
Yeah,
Eitan,
yeah.
guys,
No movies, no theater. No.
Eitan is getting married.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to.
He's supposed to, and I was supposed to come tomorrow to the...
Yeah. Sharon started
What should I have
suspecting
done?
that-
What do you do there?
What?
Testify?
By the way, you do know that you can, according to Jewish law, you can marry. You can just sanctify your union with your proposed wife.
Yeah.
In many
By
other
blood.
ways, by
Blood.
intercourse.
Okay. Well,
by-
checked.
by simply, giving her a ring and saying with the three.
I haven't said those
with
words, so I
Three
gave her a ring.
circumcised witnesses, and there's
Do I have to make sure that they're circumcised?
You have to verify it personally. Yeah.
Shit, man.
Both visually and as far as the tactile
Oh no.
issue goes. You have to,
Oh,
you have
no.
to-
Yeah.
you have
I
to
don't know if I
feel.
want-
You have to bring him...
I'm going back now home. Like,
You have to
we're not
stick
getting
your-
married.
Yeah.
We're not. She's like, why? Well, I don't want to touch 3 circumcised penises. That's going to be
Oh my
uncomfortable.
God. So yeah, so
Well,
they
you guys,
shut down everything.
you guys invited me, so you knew.
Right, right.
We
I
knew
don't
this
know.
was
You
coming.
knew the conversation
I don't know
would
if they're-
deteriorate to
I don't
this.
know if the Roots Sheva audience knew, but
Yeah.
or the Jewish Journal audience knew.
Well,
Well,
Tough luck.
these are hard times.
Wait,
These
but
are-
maybe I get an exemption from that because of the whole Corona situation, right? Like, you're not allowed to be within 2 meters.
No, well, as I saw as I've seen on the media, the rabbinical colleges are still
Yeah.
Under what excuse that in
right.
Judaism,
yeah,
you, the rabbi,
according to Jewish law.
according to the Jewish law and the halacha, epidemic or pandemic is only when you have 500 sick
And
in the
3
country
dead.
and 3 dead
Yeah.
in
Only then is it a
a
pandemic.
country. So since we don't have 500 sick, then they go to the yeshivas and
good.
spread the disease. But what I wanted
So
to
according
say
to
is,
Jewish law, it's only a pandemic when it's too late.
yeah, exactly. When we're all dead. But I wanted to say that the people who say that there are thousands and thousands of people who are sick outside, it might be true, but it's totally speculative. We just don't know.
Yeah,
yet.
But a lot of the stuff that's going around now is speculative.
That's also
right?
true.
So I
Can't
hear.
really know.
Yeah. But so what will happen though? I'm very pessimistic,
Nobody
but let's.
knows. Nobody. It can really go either way.
We're not all going to die. Can we
No,
agree on that?
Definitely not. But I think what's really going to happen this is a paradigm shifting event. I think it's going to completely change the way we do business, the way we interact with people. It's going to stay like the effects of this will stay on for many years, if not forever.
Shockwaves.
Yeah, the economy, everything, it's going to contract. I think we're all going to kind of go a little bit more back to basics. I think it's all
More localized?
everything's going to, the whole thing is going to, the whole global economy is just simply going to contract.
Is Trump going to lose because of the?
He may, but
If
I don't know.
Eitan.
I'm really bad in
Profit.
at gambling and
I see.
and trying.
Yeah,
to,
you say maybe to everything.
Yeah, so I'm not. I'm trying to keep an open mind.
Okay. No, because if America gets, I don't know, how many deaths you had in Vietnam?
Deaths in
I
Vietnam?
think 20, maybe
No,
10.
more,
No,
like-
20,000 probably.
Yeah?
No, that's in all of the wars that Israel had.
Right.
I think they had
Let's see.
something
Let's
like
ask Google.
100,000 or something. No, I think there was more.
100,000. Okay. So if they get half of that,
Yeah.
Trump will lose.
I don't think
not
it
a
has
matter
to
of
do with
death.
the
It doesn't
deaths.
have anything
I
to
think
do
it has
with
to do with the economy. Trump's winning card is the economy, and if like
But
if the economy takes like a dip, if growth slows down even by like 1% or 2%, I think that Trump's going to have a serious problem. But anything can change. Like if this might wash over in a month or two, right? Because what happened in China? I mean, they took extreme measures,
But it's not
in
nothing
2
is going
months,
to wash over. But even let's say that in Israel, okay, we're pretty well prepared and well organized, and we're going to fix it. We're going to beat it.
Yeah,
We're gonna beat it. Okay,
we gonna win.
sorry about that.
Get her done.
So let's say you beat it in Israel.
Yeah.
What do? I mean, it's still raging elsewhere in the world.
Right, you got to keep the gates closed.
You keep the gates closed. The economy is still.
And even if you beat it and there's only one left you don't know about, he could redistribute it.
That's kind of like what the in the United Kingdom they're trying to do is they're trying to build herd immunity.
Okay, so that, for example, is complete and utter nonsense.
That's even if it's not nonsense from the scientific point of view, which I know nothing about. To me it seems like a gamble.
It's not a gamble.
It's a crazy.
It's not a gamble. It's not a gamble
bet to
because it's not a bet. Because what will happen is 100% like there is no chance it will not lead to mass death.
What's the theory?
Okay, so what the British are going to do essentially, and it's yet to be proved that they are actually going to do it, but that's their policy as of now. They're saying we're not going to fight the spreading of the disease
in the community,
like China did, like Korea did. We're not like Italy is doing. We're not going to close anything.
I never liked the Brits anyway. Okay, so
I tweeted they were great people. I really like the Brits.
I really liked their spotted dick.
Oh, the Brits.
God.
Remember them?
Yeah.
Like in 2022, we'll be like, remember the British?
They are not banning any mass events. They held a huge soccer match a few days ago. And they're saying basically, let it distribute, and 60% will get sick as quickly as possible, and then they'll recover, they'll be immune, and then
they will be impermeable to the virus.
I think it's because they have such a good healthcare system.
Their healthcare system is terrible.
They have such a great healthcare system.
No, they're not.
Also, vote Bernie.
Yeah, that they're.
He's cynical.
No.
He's cynical. He's cynical.
The NHS is just so well prepared for a pandemic.
No, it's ill prepared in every level.
What's the NHS?
The National Health
System. So why is it a bad idea? Service.
Sorry, yeah.
Why is it a bad idea?
Cervix.
The National Health Cervix.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a weird choice of a institution name, but
I'm talking about severe and dark things, and you guys joke around.
Well, we're not in England.
Oh yeah. So why is it a bad plan? Let's just explain really briefly why it's such a bad plan.
Yeah.
Because you cannot control who gets the disease. Okay? So if 60% get it, then also 60% of the senior...
No. They are taking precautionary measures to try and...
seclude only the 60-plus-year-old.
Yeah,
you cannot do that. It's not
course.
the elderly. It's the 60-plus. It's the diabetic. It's the overweight, by the way, according...
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you look like you have diabetes?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I have high blood pressure, so I'm also...
High blood pressure. High blood pressure is also one of the dangers.
Thank you.
And
you brought me in here to a closed, confined space with two people who God knows.
So you cannot control that.
Where we've been.
So essentially, they're going to kill. They're sentencing
the thing
to
is,
death.
No. The thing is that the problem with coronavirus, which isn't that much of a dangerous disease.
That's not true.
No, it is. Okay, you know what? It's
between
very
10 and 20 times more dangerous than
the flu. But the problem with the coronavirus is that it creates a bottleneck in the hospital, in the health system, that
because
causes
it spreads
to completely break down, and then it's out of control.
Right.
And
in Italy, they're choosing who's going to die and who's going to live.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and they're walking into it like they're knowingly. Walking into the situation with a health system that I think, from what I understand, is ill prepared to handle this.
So
Like in Israel, keep in mind that we have our health system is pretty solid. Plus, we have like the whole military thing,
Right.
That we can open up field hospitals, like 10 of them, like tomorrow.
yeah. But I think it'll be like a good. It's because like in any good experiment, and this is like in the end, it's like a global experiment.
Yeah, they're going to be the control
You
group.
need a control group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So thank you UK
Yeah.
for volunteering to be the control
I don't know.
group.
That's a very strange decision that they took. That
Yeah.
they made.
But I mean, maybe we'll all like what is it? V'chol takova.
Devour our headwear.
Exactly.
Oh, we look back and say, they were the smart ones.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
No,
who
no
knows?
ways.
No
No-
way.
no
No
way.
way. You're not even giving it. I'm going to
No,
quote you
no,
here.
no,
Noor
no.
says
I
there
don't
is
know.
no chance.
No. Because you know why? Why
You know
I
what?
know?
Maybe.
You know why I know?
He likes that one.
It's very simple because look at Italy. Northern Italy had one of the best health system in the world, and they didn't get to 60%. They didn't get to 5% sick, even, and it collapsed entirely. So
Maybe it wasn't that good.
it was pretty good. It's better than ours, that's for sure. They have more beds. They have more manpower. It's at least as good as ours. And they collapsed completely.
Let's talk about Wuhan. I mean, their tourism is just like
Not what it used
forever
to be.
gone, right? I mean, they're never coming back from this one. Like no one knew about them before.
No
but
one's
now
going to go to Wuhan.
No one is going.
It's
there.
a good Tarantino movie. the last Tarantino movie.
It's a rough time.
But
for
Italy
Wuhan.
is also
Italy will
suffer.
bounce back. Wuhan will never bounce back. From
Like a
this.
ball of arancini.
Yes. No, but Wuhan doesn't need tourists. It has its own
It has slave labor.
slave labor
and bioweapons labs.
yeah. So they say. And meat markets with delicious fresh
Oh
meat.
my God! So let's talk
Fresh
about
pangolin,
this.
fresh pangolin.
Pangolin. I didn't even know what a pangolin was.
Well, now you do. Thank you, Corona.
They're like armadillos, kind of, but with like tails. And anyway, they also sell. Let's talk about this for a sec, because these guys they had it coming, but they didn't have to share it with the rest of us. But they eat bats, rats,
Chicken of the cave.
Wild
chicken of the cave. It's like tuna.
wild cats.
Wild cats, and this one made me
It's not
cry.
wild cats, wild civets.
Okay, civets.
Civet.
Okay.
That's actually what caused the SARS epidemic.
Right, and they thought it's they say it's the bat, but it can also be that.
It's the bat and then the civet, then the guy.
Right.
So they also sell koalas, and this one really, like, honestly, it made me it cry, because I'm a pussy, but
Cervix.
puppy wolf puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Have
What
you?
do you want
I,
to
look, I was like, they can't be that cute. I looked them up afterwards on Google to look at pictures, and I put on some music in the background while I was scrolling, and it's just
you
so
hired a violinist to come and play.
yeah,
in the
just to
background.
play. They're like, how can you eat a wolf? I know, like, we eat baby cows, and you could shoot it, but like wolf puppies. Anyway, they eat some horrific stuff.
I don't know. I don't judge.
I judge them to
Well.
death by corona.
So I'm very pessimistic. I think we're going to. I think it's a matter of days until they shut down the whole country.
Here.
Here,
Yeah, probably.
like 2 or 3 days the most. And also we're gonna have
What is that going to look like? What do you mean shut down the whole country? Are they going to
Yom
not
Kippur.
let anybody out?
Yom Kippur for a month. Mm-hmm. Yom Kippur for a month.
Yom Kippur
with some supermarkets open and pharmacies.
Right.
so not with like military on the streets.
With some military in the streets too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That'll be fun.
So anyway, another
note.
thing that happened today is it looks like Gantz is going to get the mandate to form a government from the president. So we had elections, guys. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
We have them all the time.
Yeah, it happens quite often nowadays. And Roy, as we said in the intro, he's an expert in campaigns because he worked in campaigns. So first, before we get to election results, this time it didn't work in any
No,
campaign.
this time I didn't.
What did you think about the campaign? Can you analyze?
It's all well. It's not. You can't really separate.
Let's do the Razzie award and then the Oscar award.
Oscars, of course. Bibi, without any.
Why? Like,
he's an animal. He's just
Like a wolf puppy?
remarkable.
can you sum up his campaign real quick?
Remarkable.
This time, like what made this time?
I think this time is actually this time he actually went for the campaign he should have gone with since the beginning, which is in Israel. The problem is that in areas that are statistically more prone to lean towards the right wing, the percentage of people going to vote is much lower than in geographical areas that lean towards the left statistically.
Why?
Or in demographically. Why? It's a mixture of cultural things, state of mind, maybe campaigns that aren't directed at those people. So this time he went
Activism also, like, right?
activism.
I think people on the right are less like activists.
Much less. That's the cultural thing. I was trying to sum up with one word. So, so this time he kind of went for those people. He didn't necessarily get them, but he tried.
But there was a psychological effect.
And while trying, he managed to consolidate, some voters that he lost to Blue and White, some voters that he lost to, I don't know. He managed to, and he did get some more people out of the house to vote. So he got enough to win, by a substantial, to become the biggest party as far as the election results go. Not big enough, obviously, but close but no cigar, because the right wing as a bloc has less than 60 mandates. So now
Blue and White get
and who's the Razzie? Who gets the Razzie award?
It's a tough competition between the Labour Party and the Yamina.
Bennett's party.
Yeah, Bennett's party.
I think definitely the Labour. I mean,
Labour were worse.
They had to link up three parties to barely scratch together. What was it, like seven? Six.
It's embarrassing, and it's a party that used to be like 40 mandates.
That's
And what do you think about Gantz's? Sorry,
I'd give the Oscar to Joint List. I mean, come on, look at what they did. It's insane, right?
But they didn't have to do much, though.
There was actually a very interesting article, I don't know if you read it, in Haaretz, by their strategist. Very, very interesting. I'll send it to you after the show, and you can peruse.
Okay.
So, yeah, they had it. They're definitely runners-up, but not that much, because when you're in that position, when you're in opposition to almost everything, and the demographic identity is such a key issue of you don't really have to do that much.
Right.
You just have to kind of like
ring the bell, make sure everyone. The challenge there was to raise the percentage of people going to vote, and it's a challenge that they had a lot of help from other elements outside their party and their campaign. So I'll give them the runners-up, but not the Oscar. What do you think about the Gantz's campaign?
Was, I think, okay. It wasn't brilliant.
Why the landslide?
What landslide? Bibi's landslide?
Sorry, why the failure?
I don't think it's a failure. I think I don't think it's a failure at all. I think that under very challenging circumstances, which include him being a very problematic candidate, and with a very, very aggressive smear campaign from Likud, and a very unattractive campaign, which was okay, but it was just.
What would you have done if you were his lead campaigner?
I don't know. I can't even think about it.
Wait, can we say though that in the past you have worked on both campaigns, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've worked for Likud and
I worked for Blue and White, but I didn't work for Gantz. I worked for Yair Lapid.
Okay.
So we were part of the same campaign, but we were doing some different stuff. So
Okay.
So it was an efficient campaign, and he managed to.
We talked about it a little
managed
bit.
to secure his base. It's kind of like, it's 33.
And he's getting the mandate now
33 mandates is a substantial amount of mandates.
And he's getting the main mandate to form a government now from the president.
The first mandate, yeah.
And by the way,
Thanks
it's the
to
first time it happens, because in round one, Bibi got it first, and then they went to another elections. In round two, Bibi got it first. And
No. It's actually the same. No, Gantz got it first.
On Moed Bet? Are you sure?
Pretty sure. It's the same thing as now. This
is the first time
Bala
he
didn't
gets-
want to. Bala,
No, because because last time Lieberman didn't recommend anyone. Didn't.
maybe. I don't know.
So, and Bibi got
knows?
it first. So it's the first time he gets the first chance.
And then
And
it was
the
Andrew
psychological
Tigran, yeah.
effect here is immense. The one who gets first, he's not the winner, but it goes for showing something.
Doesn't matter. The guy that stands in 8 o'clock, at the 8 o'clock news every night and talks about Corona and leading the country is Bibi.
Yeah.
So
The timing here is amazing.
Because Bibi is very lucky. The psychological effect will be wasted on the Corona crisis and non-existent. Plus, it comes at a horrible price of the recommendations by the Joint Arab List, including the most, extremist fraction of it.
Bibi actually never finished campaigning. He's still campaigning nowadays.
He's been campaigning for 20 years.
Right, yeah. But now he's actually campaigning with videos
And signs.
and signs against guns going with the Arabs, which is unimaginable. Because
Why not? They have so
it's-
much money.
It makes sense, but
so much campaign funding. So.
yeah. But I had
But
another
they did this. They also had signs.
after Bibi was the first to do that. He's always innovative when it comes to campaigns. I have another question for you. We talked about it a little bit. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but why
Is
did
that
Lapid...
about my? Oh, okay.
no, not about that.
Not that one.
Why did Lapid go with guns? Why did he do that?
I don't know. I think the idea was to form a bloc, a big party that will manage to get more mandates than the Likud, and kind of like brand and do it was for psychological effect. I think for
He gave so much.
Yeah.
Lapid. He gave just the ground structure of campaigns. He gave
they had the foot soldiers.
the
Gantz
foot
didn't have
soldier.
anything.
He didn't have anything.
anything.
He gave great creative talents and political knowledge, and what did he get in return?
He got I think, a pretty good deal as far as how many MKs he has on the list. And other than that, I don't think he really got anything. I don't understand why he did it. I think that if he stood his ground in the first round, Gantz would have ended up getting like
evaporated.
10 mandates, I think, and Lapid would have gotten 20. So I don't really understand why he decided to go with them.
And what's going to happen now?
Was there no chance to begin with for a unity government? Because there was talk about it now because of the Corona crisis.
The level of well, first of all, now because of the Corona crisis, there is a chance that they will do something temporary as far as a unity government goes. But it will just, hopefully, this will end in a few months, and then
So it'll just postpone the
It will
deadlock.
just postpone another
You're
election.
against the unity government.
Yeah.
Why?
The unity government in general. The emergency government, I can see why there's a good...
Why in general you're against?
Because I don't think I think a unity government means a left-wing government. And a left-wing government... We had a right-wing government for the past 10 years, and it was a left-wing government. So I think a unity government... hardly any sort of right-wing issues were
dealt with.
Were nothing.
Why?
Why? Because I think Bibi is very, very much a conservative in the very truest sense of the word, and he doesn't like change. He doesn't like to mess with he likes peace and quiet. He likes it when everything is, path of least resistance.
Doesn't want to shake the boat.
Yeah, doesn't want to rock the boat.
Rock the boat.
Rock the boat.
Sorry.
So
in England, they say shake the boat.
Okay.
Not anymore.
So now it's get in the boat. There's Corona all over this fucking island.
Yeah, let's cross to France. Okay.
So I think it's just a matter of not wanting to shake the boat, of kind of all sorts of Machiavellian scheming of, well, I'll appoint this guy and and everything backfired on him horribly, and he's really a victim of his own making. you might say, even with the Arabs, he's really a victim of his own making. So anyway, I don't think that a unity government will be able to promote the things that I would like to see. Which are first and foremost a substantial overhaul of the separation of the judiciary and the legislative and the executive branches, which is a mess in Israel.
Yeah, we talked about this, guys. If you want to listen, an episode with Professor Einhorn, and an episode with Gadi.
I haven't listened to any of those two, but I can say that I agree with both of them completely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the same idea, the same thing. And there hasn't been any, every appointment that he made in the deep state was terrible.
You think there's a deep state in Israel?
Oh, for sure. There's deep state everywhere. It's a natural. It's a part of life. And every appointment he made in the deep state was terrible. People warned him against it. He did it anyway because of what we said before, and I think it all backfired for him.
Do you think he's going away? Where do you think his cases are leading?
No, first of all, his cases will take years to be,
But is he going to do time? Is he going to be in an orange jumpsuit?
By the time it's over, even if I first of all, I believe all three cases are 90% bullshit, and I would be very much surprised if most of them will even stand in court.
Just for the record, guys, if you haven't gotten it, Roy is not a pro-Bibi fanatic at all. Right?
No.
That's an understatement even.
No, I'm not a fan.
So yeah. It's worth mentioning, I think.
Yeah, but as far as his claims of
the cases,
as far as his legal predicament, I'm very much in his corner, though.
Well, how come I got to ask? Speaking of his cases, how come Blue and White? Because you were on one of the campaigns. How come they didn't? Two of them, the first and the second. So how come they didn't do as much of a smear campaign in that? Why didn't we see billboards of Bibi in an orange jumpsuit sitting on a?
They don't have to. They have the 8 o'clock news in every channel, and
no, but I mean, you don't think that would
radio and television propaganda pushing that? They don't need to get their hands dirty.
I see.
They have the media doing their dirty work.
So it would have done them more damage.
They have the state's attorney and the courts protecting their own wrongdoings by gag orders, and
So it would have.
So they can run a clean campaign, quote unquote. You
don't think it would have benefited them to get their hands
because
dirty?
everybody's already the propaganda level is there's so much propaganda where everybody knows already that Bibi is corrupt, blah blah blah, and people vote for him anyway because they don't care or they think the system is
rigged,
is messed up, or they think the
there's
blue
no
and
good
white
alternative.
There's no most I think the major thing is that there's no alternative because Gantz is obviously not an alternative. He's a joke. He's a sock puppet, and there's no one at Bibi's level. Bibi, which I detest, but he's definitely very good at what he does.
Why do you detest him though so much?
Because I think he's very cynical.
Don't you think Israel is in a good place?
It is, but it could have been it could have been in a much better place.
Could have been in a much worse place.
And it will be very soon, very fast. The deterioration to that place will be extremely rapid because of the things that Bibi didn't give us. He had 10 years to inject this country and the whole structure of how things work here with some anti-corona vaccine. And he didn't. He wasted 10 years. Did nothing, no real structural changes that. Like
maybe no one can
do
these
you
changes.
You can do some at least. The left is just going to go back to power. They're going to pick up right where they left off, and you're going to see things happening so fast because they have the courts, they have the judiciary, they have the media, they have the
things like what?
They have the public sector. Things like giving up territory, things like
taxes,
prosecuting the right,
but perhaps
things like raising taxes, things like messing up minimizing the free market, which is already quite minimized in Israel. And
as far as defense, as far as security, you don't feel like he took us a step forward? Meaning, I understand your economic qualms.
Yes. There's the one thing he did do is I think he managed to create a balance of not security. It's not security.
Status quo.
He built a ghetto. He built a very, very safe ghetto with high walls that the Jews paid for themselves. Paid off the guys on the other side of the walls to be quiet as much as he could with our money. And gave up territory.
Sounds like peace in the Middle East to me.
Yeah, there's no you have to have deterrence, and there's no deterrence.
But you can't deny the fact that the economy is also when you look at the numbers.
He chose status quo. He chose quiet as much as he could,
and it brought prosperity. In the short term.
But it's in the short term. In the long term, what happened now? He led us to the point where terror supporting openly, some of them openly anti-Semitic and openly people who identify completely with Israel's enemies have today recommended for prime minister a party made up of several chiefs of staff of the IDF and security ministers.
There's a straight law against them, and it's not his fault that the Supreme Court.
Of course, it's his
fault. But
fault.
Shaked was the minister and she did
appointed by
as much as she could to change how the Supreme Court.
Doesn't matter. They didn't really. He blocked himself. He himself blocked many reforms that various people proposed over the years.
Like, for example,
like splitting the. I keep forgetting Yoamash. What's he called?
The chief attorney.
The attorney general.
The attorney general.
The attorney general. Yeah. It's not the same as in America.
Right.
So we'll call him the attorney general, but the guy with the black robe.
Chief prosecutor and the attorney general.
He's not the chief.
Together,
he is the chief.
Here they're like both.
Exactly.
One.
So the whole that's the idea. They wanted to split them, so it made any sense. Plus, there's no law regulating what this guy does, what his authorities are, and what his responsibilities.
And what happens if he breaks the law?
Yeah. And there's like a whole mesh of conflict of interest in his.
But for our listeners, the reason that it's so problematic is because the chief prosecutor and the attorney general, one's job is to advise the government on legal things, and the other one is to prosecute the government.
Yeah, when they
legal matters. So
when they make a boo boo.
Yeah, complete conflict of interest.
Embedded conflict of interest.
But something I don't get in your theory is if Bibi protected the system, why does the system avenge him?
Because the system saw that he's weak and decided to run him over like any bully. When you don't stand up to...
But you say they thrived under him, so why would they...
They want to thrive more. Plus some of them are compromised themselves by his political opponents.
Explain.
Some people in the judiciary are, they're compromised. They're blackmailable by various people, and some identify politically with the other side, which is legitimate. But and I think they just, like any bully, if you don't stand up to the bully, he runs you over.
So you're saying he put up a fight, but not enough of a fight.
He didn't put up
He didn't put
a
up
fight
any
at all.
fight?
No, at all. He quite on the contrary. He protected them like a mother protects her newborn baby.
Or wolf pup.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that.
Also, you have some interesting opinions about the IDF.
Yes.
Elaborate.
I think the IDF is a non-profit. It's not an army. It's a non-profit.
You call them the
organization.
IDF
Think tank.
The NGO. It's an
the
NGO.
NGO.
Yeah.
And the IDF.
It's a
NGO.
It's a It's I think the army is in a bad way. Again, the events
Why?
of today illustrate it more than anything. Because how shitty does a chief of staff of the IDF have to be to have people who identify with Hezbollah and Hamas recommend that he become prime minister?
You're talking about guns. He's not
how
the chief of staff anymore.
How yeah,
Ex-chief.
but
Three,
Yeah.
it's three of them.
but they're all
Three of them.
But they're all, it's three of them, and some of them were defense ministers, and plus they're all like the current chief of staff is just kind of like a genetic clone of the same. They're all from the same, cut from the same piece of fabric.
Right. A funny story.
Red fabric. So, yeah.
Funny story from yesterday. So because of coronavirus, right, the IDF is preparing. So they decided to let go of the unnecessary manpower.
Yeah.
Which is most of the manpower.
50%
but
of
in
the
order,
soldiers,
but in order to hide the fact that there's actually, how do they call it, secret unemployment or something like that in the IDF, they hid the fact that they're actually releasing so many people who are not needed, even. Right?
Yeah, it's
Thank
bullshit.
you, Corona. Hashtag
bullshit.
thank
It's
you,
a bullshit
Corona.
So I
army.
was thinking, if you're relieving them from duty, why should they return? This is our chance. Like, this is our chance to do all kinds of reforms.
Corona is going to help us do a lot of reforms.
Right?
Yeah.
What else is there?
First of all, the government is
system.
going to be so bankrupt that they're going to have to trim the fat.
Elections did that also. A year of elections cut the budget.
Yeah, that was
In
amazing.
tens
actually.
of
That was a
percent.
very we actually are probably better poised to deal with the Corona crisis because we had so many elections.
The deficit went. What is it? The number, it went from 4% to 3%
because there was no budget.
Because there's no budget. And
Wow.
The budget, when you have an election year and you don't approve a budget, what happens is they take the old budget and just
by
divide
12.
it, cut it by 12, and then the old budget, of course, is always lower than next year's budget.
they're used to automatically
raising
increase
yeah.
it every year. So,
So
now they
didn't.
can't increase it.
So, and it's great. It cut the and the taxes. The tax revenues were great last year. So in 2019.
If the
Yeah, I
health-
told some people that I was considering
actually, a lot of people say,
voting.
"Oh, the elections they cost us so much." Blah blah
Exactly.
blah.
Yeah.
They actually
Save
are
us money.
great for the economy.
Yeah. That's what I said, that I would consider voting next time, not based on who I ideologically agree with, but who I think will continue the stalemate.
By the way, I don't understand who in his right mind will want to be the prime minister and form a government now. Like, you have a guy
Yeah.
who wants to do it, Bibi, let him do it. Why,
Yeah.
that in your right
it's not going to
mind,
end well.
would you go now into this fucking shit pile?
What do you mean?
The storm, the
Coronavirus,
corona.
the
the economy,
coronavirus.
the blah
yeah.
blah blah. You know, the next finance minister is going to have to make cuts, and you know Israelis don't love.
We love cuts.
Yeah, but Israelis don't
Most
like
Israelis, yeah.
cuts in the public sector. They're gonna have to make so many cuts and so many. It's gonna be a.
But do you really see like liberal economic reform happening in Israel on a large scale? I mean, you have 1 million people here in the public sector
Well, soon you will have only half of that.
because of Corona.
Maybe it's a blessing, this corona thing.
What are you gonna do?
What
are they
can
gonna
I
do?
say?
This is going to cost billions. No, they're not going to die.
No, I know, but I'm saying Corona's
It's
not
going to
a...
cost billions.
Look,
and billions
it killed all the
Listen.
Iranian leadership.
Listen, it's going to cost billions. They're not going to be able to raise taxes because the private sector will be on its knees by the time this is over, if it's over. They won't be able to raise taxes. They're going to have to cut and cut hard. And I think it's a good thing because the public sector in Israel is ridiculous. The sheer size of it.
Also, it's. I think it's almost it's almost inevitable that the health system will collapse eventually.
From
it might
this
take from
pandemic?
this. It might take another week, maybe a month.
You think so?
I mean, they'll move the pressure to the military, as you said.
Yeah.
But not before you will see complete havoc and havoc in the corridors, and you'll when they'll pass the responsibility to the military, they'll be on their knees, and then you'll need to think about what you do with the health system. Aidan's a libertarian. So I'm trying to push his buttons to...
No, they're going to have to. The health, I think, if anything, countries will move towards, as far as the health system go, they will see which health system dealt with this crisis the best in the world, and they will copy that
Chinese system.
I don't know. I think the South Korean probably is better.
What's the difference?
One is a totalitarian, and the other is democratic.
I don't know how much the government is involved in the Korean health system. It's not my field of expertise.
It's more or less the same principle. They are all countries that learned from the past, so they saw what.
But the Koreans are more like Israel, because the Koreans are a highly militarized
society, right?
With a strong kind of like binding ethos.
But they have so much more they have twice, I think, beds in their health system, emergency beds.
10 times as bigger.
No, I mean per capita.
They're a very, very wealthy country.
Yeah, so it's not a competition.
Wealthier than Israel.
And they were prepared for this scenario because they were hit by SARS, and it was like all these countries had protocols.
Plus, they're always ready for nuclear war, so they have probably...
that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? So Gabriel wrote, "This is just a pre-game for Passover, the 11th plague."
Oh, wow.
I don't think we're going to make it till Passover.
Right. I think, what are we going to... Like, Passover is a no-go.
No-go on Passover this year.
Yeah, not going to happen. My grandparents are in quarantine, self-quarantine.
Because by Passover, halachically, we'll be in a pandemic.
Yes.
And then halachically, you cancel Passover.
Right.
If
then you're good.
Yeah. Because matzah,
Something optimistic, Roy?
No.
Okay.
Can't get much worse.
Right.
No, I mean, it can get way worse.
Before we go, what's going to happen with what's your prediction to politics here in Israel?
I don't know. Really,
are we going to fourth election?
It's really definitely. It may take a few more months because of the corona
Will
thing.
Gantz form a government with the Arabs?
If we survive the corona and emerge victorious on the other end of this, there will be another election. He may form a minority government. It's going to be like with Bibi as head of the opposition. He's going to rape them. And there may be an emergency government and then elections. I don't know.
But Lapid and Bogi will never sit with Bibi.
No.
Never, ever.
No, for sure.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay.
Bibi and Gantz both get corona.
No, don't say that.
And everything changes.
No.
I'm just, I'm putting it out there. It's a possibility.
He took a corona test today.
Yeah?
Him and his
Trump
aides.
Also, right?
Yeah.
Earlier.
Trump came negative. No results yet.
No, Trump came back negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank God.
No, no. Let's not.
I'm not hoping it. I'm just making a plausible prediction.
Oy,
Is that it? I'm getting
anything
taken
to
away
plug?
by the Shabak?
Sorry?
I'm getting taken away by the Shabak. That's it?
Yeah. So it looks
over?
that I hear them
Okay.
storming.
Well.
Something to plug, like you have things, but they're all in Hebrew, right? You have a TV show coming up.
Yeah, but it's only going to come up in September.
Netflix.
If even.
But if Netflix buys it or something, that
Yeah, but it's months away.
okay.
So
Can you tell us about it? Can you give us a little
You shot in
blurb?
Kiev.
yeah, just one episode. It's a show about the deep state. actually. It's a show about
What's it called?
it's in the English name that we have for it is Rats,
Okay.
and it's about internal affairs investigators.
Okay.
It's a cop show where the cops are the bad guys.
Okay.
So
It's a show in Hebrew,
it's
in English?
Hebrew. It's in Hebrew. It's about a guy who is an internal affairs investigator who used to be a cop.
Okay.
And he stumbles onto a case. He starts investigating, and then he finds out that the main suspect is his best friend, who's a police officer that he's still very good friends with. And he finds out that he's been leading this double life, and he's actually does horrible things and blah.
Holy shit. Sounds good.
It's pretty good.
Tough.
Who's producing it?
Yoav Gross Productions.
But yes,
But is
hot
it-
or
And it's the corporation, the
Israeli
Israeli
PBS.
Broadcasting Corporation.
PBS.
Yeah, you're producing it
Nice.
with your tax,
You're welcome.
with your tax shekels. So thank you.
And then irony jumped from the roof.
Yeah,
Okay, Roy, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming. Let's hope for
Thank you.
best of health to you
thank you.
and your
You too.
family and your loved
too.
ones and
You
your
too.
your
And
father.
Your parents.
Stay
Yeah.
safe. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
And the guy on the train who took the train.
No, he's so
he can't
stupid.
speak him
Transportation
back.
purposes.
Like if Darwin was correct, he shouldn't make it. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we go, we have a collaboration.
Sorry. Before we go, JewishJournal.com, guys. We have a collaboration with them. Check them out, JewishJournal.com.
If you're in
They have
quarantine,
great. Yes.
We recommend it.
It's perfect. They have lots of podcasts. Shmuel Rosner, David Suissa. Check them out, JewishJournal.com. And
Also, IsraelNationalNews.com. It's Arutz Sheva. They also have great content. They have a nice Facebook page, which you should follow. And we accept donations, so please help us out. Go to twinjb.com and throw
/
some money
donate.
at us. /donate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
guys.
legal.